Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Cheese is back, fresh off a win, but a very wet win.
A very cold win, but a win is a win, as they say.
And that's the end of the show.
And that'll do us. It was a good win. Dogs are probably a better side than we all anticipated at the start of the year. The defensive record sort of shows that. They were missing some key players though in saying that, and just glad I got away with a win. If we lost, it would have been depression at home again after all that's going on and going around. I was just glad I got through a decent performance and a decent game and got the win.
Do you feel good to be back?
Yeah, it feels like life is starting to balance itself out again. Life's getting back into the normal routine, and we've had the weekend off, and I haven't been very active as I usually would be, and I've just been at home really. My body, probably the 3 weeks off, nearly 3 weeks I had off, because we went from the bye into missing the game into a whole week of training, so about 3 weeks out of playing, and the body's just not quite used to those contacts at the moment.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you know what that feels like.
I do remember what it feels like, Cheese. Just on your game, like I thought you dominated field position, and Sammy Walker, like his short kicking game.
Yeah,
insane.
Like we spoke about that before. I think we couldn't really trouble them with our shape inside the 20-metre line, but fortunately enough, Sammy Walker, he's got that in his game, and he sort of does it all the time at training, but to see him, and he got props from Robbo after the game for it, and if it wasn't for a short kicking game, we probably would have been, in a little bit of trouble, and Bulldogs probably came out in the second half. They had the errors early and kind of let the game slip away from them. When they scored that long range try, they were right in the game, and then they just had a lot of errors coming out of their own end of the field, pretty much like we did last time we played Bulldogs, and if you're not completing at around 100% inside your 50, you're probably not going to win the game.
Yeah, the conditions played a big part of that as well. Like if you make errors in wet conditions, like obviously you naturally think you're going to make more, but if you make them at your end of the field, it screws you over. Like it's so hard to get out of that, and then just you're constantly coming out your own end. You're constantly then defending midfield and then defending your own line. It takes its toll on you.
Yeah, I think that's what happened in the back end of the second half. Like they just ran out of juice towards the end. When they finally got into good field position, they had been, camped inside their 20 for the last 20 minutes, and you just find it hard to come back from that. And that's what Penrith do really well. They do that to teams. They just camp them in their half, and then they've just got that little bit more juice at the end of the game.
Yeah, they do. Two bits of there was lots of sublime skill considering the conditions. The try that the Bulldogs scored, the salmon one, was like ridiculous in dry conditions. But just from the Roosters' point of view, Sam Walker's kick for the Butcher try, where he stepped off his left, then kicked it on his right, and it was after your run, which I don't think people give you enough credit for. You actually stopped Connor Tracy from getting set and up at marker. So your run, he's tackled you, he's down. And then Sam Walker's had the awareness. I don't know whether, how his thought process goes, but whether or not he knew Connor Tracy was down so that he could put the kicking, because it almost looked a bit easy. But
yeah,
Tracy was down and still scrambling to his feet because he had to deal with your run. But then that quick thinking or natural instinct, whatever it is from Sam Walker, to go bang off your left because the pressure was coming from the inside, and then kick it with his right, in those conditions, to find the weight of the kick as well. So you can overcompensate by kicking it too hard. You can just kick it normally, it won't go as far, but it was a brilliant bit of skill from Walker.
Just the way he opened up the gap with that left foot, I think Sam's got an incredible knack of understanding when someone's shoulders or hips aren't, in line with him, and he can kind of beat a defender. I think a lot of people with good footwork have that knack to know when they've got someone beaten. And, it just was pretty beautiful to watch. But he does it all the time at training. He does it to himself a lot most of the time, but he.
What do you mean? Does it to himself?
Like he kicks for himself a lot.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Where
I thought you meant he steps himself. I was like, how the fuck do you do that?
No, he does a lot of short kicking for himself in con games and stuff like that. But it's definitely one of his big strengths, and hopefully he can keep it going moving forward.
Yeah, the play from Joey Manu off the scrum as well. I wanted to highlight that. That was ridiculous.
That's 2 from 2 that play.
It just Burton just brought in enough, and Joey Manu across the body to the sweep play.
It probably didn't go the way we wanted it to go, to be honest. Usually I'd have the ball in my hand a little bit longer, but because Max King rushed me from the scrum, I just threw, and I couldn't see Joey Manu when I threw the pass because Sam was running dead set in line with him, and I was just going, put it on the plane, do your best, and thank God we caught it.
Yeah, but then again, like Manu can't see Sam Walker, can he? So it's a blind pass where you just got to trust.
Yeah,
and like it, I know it's just one pass, one moment, but like, and it looks so easy.
Yeah,
but like to do it in to do it unopposed, it's actually hard to pull off unopposed, and then to do it in a game where you got pressure with the conditions, it was an amazing bit of skill from Joey Manu. Yeah,
it's a lot of risk, to do a play like that where you can't see where you're actually passing the ball on the first play. So I guess, nailing it always helps.
Yeah, the Roosters are looking good and sort of firming into top 4 position. I think currently as it stands, you're 4th. I reckon you're one of the, at the moment, you're probably the biggest threat to Penrith. Now, I know you haven't beaten Penrith for a while, but is that the sort of, like, the Roosters way of thinking at the minute? Like, you guys believe you can knock them off?
Oh, I'm sure we believe it, but it's not really spoken about, or it's not a focal point at the club at the moment. And I think at the moment it's just being consistent and winning games we should win. That's probably our biggest problem. We've dropped some games that we probably shouldn't have dropped, i.e. the Bulldogs won. That one we had to fight to try to stay in that game. In that Cowboys game, we were ahead at halftime. We should be icing games like that, and I guess taking the lessons from those losses is probably the biggest thing for us. And we'll get onto the table and stuff soon, but we're trying to just notch those wins up, give us a place in the finals, and we know we'll be at the pointy end of the season and should be right where we need to be. So we're still building at the moment.
Yeah, still building, but I think that for those there's a bit of a log jam of teams there. I think you're the front runners now for that last spot in the top 4. I think Penrith will be there. I think Cronulla, obviously they've got plenty of wins under their belt, but their draw is favourable, and the Storm just keep on winning. Just on the Storm, great game against the Dolphins at Suncorp. That was a game where no Origin players, but you celebrated because it's like the quality on display was top class.
Yeah, well, both sides have a big Kiwi influence inside their teams. They got a lot of New Zealand players and a lot of representative New Zealand players. So it wasn't like a step down in quality. They still have a lot of great players. And that Trey Fuller is a bloody footballer, man.
Yeah.
He's got to be somewhere in that team full time, or if not, he's got to be at another club.
Yeah,
because he deserves a fullback spot, I reckon. And obviously with Hamarsai there, it's pretty difficult. He's scored one of the best tries I've ever seen in my life the other week. But
so did Trey Fuller.
Yeah,
against I honestly, people laugh about this, but I reckon his is better.
Yeah,
like goes through a full defensive line.
Yeah, the
Hammer only had to be Hammer beats a jagged defensive line. Trey Fuller went straight through the guts of them and the chip and chase.
Yeah.
Like chip, chase, regather. Like I reckon if the Hammer scores that, if it's the Hammer and the Hammer, they're going with the one against Manly.
Yeah. I probably agree with you there. But
mate, what about the last minute? I've never seen Melbourne concede a one-on-one strip in order to give the Dolphins that chance. They scrambled like mad, and then they got it back, and everyone goes.
Wasn't there a massive pause in play? Did something happen? I'm pretty sure there was, because I was watching the telly, and then I stopped watching for like 10 seconds and I looked back and they didn't have the ball.
Yeah, there was a strip. I think that's what happened.
It was what happened. Jack Howarth, I don't know if you've met Jack Howarth, but he's, I can say bad things about him because he's my friend, but he's not very smart. He's pretty thick upstairs. And I could just imagine what Belzer was thinking when Jack got the ball with 20 seconds to go.
Yeah. Oh, to be fair, they scrambled so well.
Yeah.
Like, when it was on the line, and great to see.
That last play. But even then, the game, if they get that 2 at halftime, just going into halftime, and then Lemuelu scores that try, that's the game there. Yeah. Are we ready to call Redcliffe the real deal? Like, are they finals contenders yet?
I think so. Like, with that level, if they play like that each week now, they'll play finals. But it's easier said than done. And there's a lot of teams that you can say that about if they play like that every week. But you know, we whinge about the referees being consistent. There's plenty of club teams that aren't consistent.
Yeah.
There's plenty of individuals that aren't consistent. It's hard to do. We'll get on to the Raiders being one of them in a moment. But yeah, Melbourne just find another way to get a win. Like, great to see Pappenhausen back as well, like into the mix. His chase on Osako just sort of shows like he's back to full fitness. That was one hell of a chase.
He scored the first try, didn't he?
He did, yes, he did. Hey, forgot to mention actually, because from your game, Dogs against the Roosters, that's my McSmart play.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You want to know what it is?
What is it?
So, obviously, way to like slow the game down. I think the Bulldogs were under the pump, so someone's ran onto the field, strategically got to stop, also dropped their phone for another late stoppage. When the referee blew up time off, I was like, oh, who's going to get sent to HIA now? No, sorry, just take the phone off. Maybe the person that came onto the field was trying to get the referee's number. I don't know, put it in. Like, maybe that was their idea of a McSmart play. But for me, like, that's as genius as the McSmart meal. Like, again, we speak about this a lot on the show. 2 burgers, fries, and a drink for $6.95. It is an absolute steal. And you can get the 2 chickens.
Chicken and cheeseburgers.
2 McChicken and cheeseburgers. 2 cheeseburgers. One of each.
Yeah. I heard it was your phone.
I'd be pinging it after referee.
I heard it was your phone that dropped out of her
it
out of
wasn't.
her skirt, I think it was.
But yeah, just got to get it away, cheese. Obviously available for a limited time only and excludes McDelivery. T's and C's do apply. But big thanks for Macca's for supporting that part of the show. But yes, McSmart play is them getting on.
I've had a not so smart play, and it involves the McSmart meal. I actually went to Macca's and I ordered 2 chicken and cheese burgers.
Yeah.
With nuggets, 6 nuggets this time. I went for 40 last time because I was with a few of the boys. But I made one of the chicken and cheese burgers a meal. And it was actually like $26.
Oh, they didn't steer you into it?
And they didn't steer me into it. But I ordered with the touchscreen thing. And like, because I'm so used to it, it's habit. I just know exactly what I'm going to get. Extra mayo, extra cheese. When I could have saved about $19.
That's where the AI doesn't take into... Maybe that for Macca's if they're listening.
Face scan,
if Ronald's listening, just... that happens on the AI scan and get that sorted out, but that is devastating.
Yeah. You know what I mean? $19. It could have got me a long way.
Maybe...
could have got me 3 McFlurries, maybe even 4.
It's like Alanis Morissette. It's ironic. It's like...
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Alanis Morissette is?
Nah.
Have you not heard the song Ironic? It's like rain on your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Alanis Morissette.
Is it?
It's like buying 2 chicken and
cheeses. How are you saying it? Say it again. Alanis
Morissette. I think that's her name.
Alana Morissette.
It's like buying 2 chicken and cheeseburgers when all you need is a McSmart meal. Like, that's what you've gone and done. Isn't it ironic? Yeah, and you've already spent it. It's a free McChicken and cheese when you've already paid.
I just can't believe you're not putting a space between the name Alana Morissette.
Alana Morissette.
Yeah, but there's no. You're not putting a space. It's like that's her whole first name.
Well, yeah, sorry. Alanis Morissette. I do it.
Alanis.
Alanis, that's it. Charlie, is that her name? Alanis. Alanis.
Yeah,
Morissette.
that's better.
Anyway, yeah, I forgot about that. But on to the Tigers. A huge win. Great to see Dewey back. Canberra, though, they are sliding. Like, big time.
They are sliding.
They are sliding.
That's the thing about the Raiders. They win games they shouldn't win and lose games they should.
They just lost what was working for them. They really have. Like, think back to them at the start of the season. They were high completion, relatively low risk, play the ball through the middle of the field, then shift when it's on. I think they're missing Fogarty at the minute. It looks like... the young halves, it's a little bit lost, but they just conceded far too many easy points.
Yeah, well, it's the kicking game. Fogarty had that long kicking game. He probably knew when to kick early. I think, their half has a good kicking game, but it's just knowing the right time to put those kicks in and not getting rushed. And I think Ethan Strange he's not much of a kicker, but he's very, very good everywhere else.
He's 19 as well.
Yeah.
Probably just he didn't have his best game yesterday, and that's understandable. You're not always going to be able to perform at this level, but yeah, the Raiders were woeful. But credit to the Tigers, and like for them to put on a score like that, it was impressive. So got to give credit where credit's due. The Tigers come under the pump quite a bit, so it's actually taken them off the bottom of the table, which is currently now held by Parramatta, which is strange to think.
What the?
Talking of teams near the bottom, the Warriors and the Gold Coast, 66 points to 6.
What?
This was insane. Like, did not see this coming one bit. The Warriors they're now in a position where we've looked at the table. You need 13 wins to guarantee playing finals. Last year, 13 wins got you in. 12 wins, 12 losses didn't. The Canberra Raiders and the Roosters were both on 13 wins, and they were in position 7 and 8. So if that's the case this year, which it most likely will be, the Warriors are going to have to go and win 7 from their next 9.
At the very, very least 6.
Yeah.
At the very...
Because they've got that draw, so they could be maybe 12, 11... and 1, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. But especially considering the logjam.
And for the listeners who think we don't do homework before the podcast, if you can have a look at Jimmy's sheet here, he's basically got the abacus out and he's been doing mathematics in his head, although we don't know how well he's calculated everything. But he's really working hard here.
Look,
there's a lot that goes on behind this camera that you guys don't see.
A lot of preparation goes in.
Yeah, we wouldn't think James Graham the mathematician, but if you ever look at this piece of paper, he's doing a very good job. Here's 7 over 9.
7 over 9 or 6 over 9. Depends on how you look at it. Great mathematics.
But yes, back to the table. At the very minimum, Warriors need 6 more wins.
They were shocking.
Like, I didn't actually get to watch it. It was just as we were warming up. I managed to watch the highlights, but it wasn't much Warriors highlights.
You went prior, mate. So say, Robbo, I know I'm back in the team this week, but can I just keep an eye on this game? No, mate, Gold Coast, they've got points in them. They've got some pace. Keanu Keeney is an amazing find. Like, what a player, what a season he's having. But, geez, I don't know if the Warriors have fell into a trap of believing their own hype and just expecting it to happen. Like last year, they were phenomenal, top 4 team, make some positive signings with a headline by Tuivasa, Sheck and Kurt Capewell. You think, well, if they're coming into that team, they didn't lose anybody of note. You're just like, most people would have said they would be a top 4 team again and mount a real challenge. But they just, I don't know if, looking at them, I've seen this happen before where teams just think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like a few weeks ago they had a few excuses because they were pretty depleted on troops, but this has probably been their best side on paper in quite a while, and it didn't work out, and I don't really get to see the whole thing of the game. I didn't think Tuivasa-Sheck's tackle was probably Sinburn worthy either. I didn't think that was too bad. I thought he landed on his shoulder.
The only argument you can make is, like they said, it went above the horizontal. And I guess it would be a bit like the shoulder charge where, all right, if you do a shoulder charge and it doesn't cause an injury, it's an unacceptable risk of injury. So they've gone, it goes above the horizontal, all right, it doesn't cause an injury, but it's an unacceptable risk of injury. That's the only argument the NRL can make. But
yeah, I feel like he goes over horizontal, but then flattens out before he lands almost. Like, I don't think it's anyway, that didn't affect the game.
Yeah.
I think it was like 48-6 by then.
I don't think it should be a sin bin.
But
I felt for Roger, but actually spoke to Kieran Foran on radio on Sunday.
He had a blinder.
He did, and the Titans believe they can make the 8, which look, and it's only those people in the 4 walls, but he's publicly saying that, which is a strong statement from Kieran, because a lot of people talking about South Sydney now. They've won 4 in a row. Can they make the finals? Again, I say no, just off the fact they've got to get to 13 wins, which I don't think they're going to be able to achieve. They beat an understrength, and that is putting it politely, Manly side. There's not really much to review. I don't think Manly would have scored if they were still playing now. To be fair, but one game we are going to look into is the Origin game. It will be tomorrow night because this comes out on Tuesday. We're recording this Monday. Where do you think the game's going to be won, Cheese?
I don't know where it's going to be won, but I think a big part of it's going to be Moses' kicking game. Queensland kicked early a lot in the first game, and I think their chase and putting them... They did exactly what sort of a lot of speculation was saying. They're going to just keep the ball in play, tire out the forwards, just keep turning it around, and I think they did a really good job nailing that, but I don't think New South Wales had a good enough reply with their kicking game. And I think that's where Moses is probably the reason he's in the team, is he's got that long kicking game and he can, I guess, go toe-to-toe with Queensland in that aspect. And I think that's a big part of what will help New South Wales win. I wouldn't be able to tell you what when I'm not a coach yet, but I think there's a big role to play for Mitch Moses. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think... For me, I really want New South Wales to win because I want it to be going to a decide up there at Suncorp. What I like about New South Wales is their bench, Olakau'atu, Yo, and more importantly, Spencer Leniu. So that, for me, gives a little bit of an advantage, those bench forwards versus the bench forwards of Queensland, which is Kafusi, Capewell, and Fotuaika. Obviously, they've got Grant up their sleeve as well. But I think the 3 forwards for New South Wales bring more off the bench than what Queensland do. So I thought Leniu had a really strong game. Obviously,
if they win the game, he was man of the match by a country mile.
Yeah. So 13 on 13, that'll be interesting. People talk about that, like, the spell that New South Wales had. But 13 on 13, the 7 minutes, Queensland were all over New South Wales in game 1. They score a try off the 7-tackle set, and the incident that led to Reece Walsh being knocked unconscious, they should have scored. The hammer actually bombed that try.
Yeah.
So that's a concern. 13 on 13, Queensland still carved up. So, again, under the radar a little bit. Edwards coming in to make his State of Origin debut. Him v Walsh, very different players. Walsh back in after his first game since that knockout. That's going to be a very interesting battle between those two.
Yeah, well, just if you have a look at Edwards and how he plays in big games, he knows what he's doing, and he'll be really excited. And I know, you know what you're going to get from him after watching him for 3 years, at the highest of highs, and he really, really has a bad game. Before those 3 seasons that he's just had, he probably had a few bad ones. I played against him in a few bad ones where he had, but he's been one of the most consistent players over the last 3 years, and I think you know what you're going to get. You're going to get high volume, high running meters, a lot of involvements, You won't get too much flash stuff, but you'll get very, very safe production, I think, and whether they can make use of that. And, Latrell Mitchell's the big one.
Just quickly on Walsh, I'll be interested to see how he approaches this game and whether or not he's maybe a fraction deeper in anticipating that jam defence, because I think he would be expecting that, or whether or not they may use him differently. So there's been a couple of examples this year where fullbacks have set up on the sweep, but they actually end up coming underneath as like a second drop. So Keanu Keeney did it against the Warriors. Tommy Tebojevic, Manly were bringing that in a little bit. So
It looks like a
traditional lead and a block play, but instead the half goes across, dummies the forward underneath, and then almost like a throw into midair to the fullback who will steam through. Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see some variation on, like I say, the depth of Walsh, because he's going to anticipate the jam. Then the players outside Walsh will be in a different shape in order to take advantage. Because if you jam, you take yourself out of the play. So if you just dish the hands across, and if that person next to Mitchell or Crichton isn't connected to land on the next pass, it's a simple 2-on-1 and race to the corner. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Coach Billy Slater can be the mastermind of that, because he used to do that a lot at fullback when he'd turn up in different areas. You prepare all week, Slater's going to do this, and then Melbourne would do a different style play and be like, bastard, we didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, and knowing Billy he's definitely looking at that. He's definitely coming up with heaps of different plays. Like that's basically his job at Melbourne Storm, is to find ways that certain teams defend against Melbourne and find one play that's pretty much his job. When I was there, he'd come in, scrum plays, boom. You do a scrum play, you score off it. Just like he's very, very good at picking apart teams, cues,
defensive structure and like go-to like philosophies,
or their habits that they have when they defend and stuff like that. Like he'll look into that stuff. Like what's Moses' habit, what's Crichton's habit, and he'll try to exploit it. So he's definitely going to come up with some sort of play, and then Walsh is, I think Billy Slater has a good relationship with Walsh, because they were very similar players, that high risk, high energy, high reward sort of plays. And Walsh and him, they're probably the exact same sort of player.
Yeah, well, they especially look at targeting the habits of Crichton and Liam Martin, because that's where you're going to get that pressure coming from. So if they squash and like go and take themselves out of the play and go after the half, that then exploits a little bit of space in and around them. But the coach may be encouraging that. And obviously there's benefits of you as an edge back row taking yourself out of the line to go and apply pressure. We saw Liam Martin flying out the line on a number of occasions. But what we've seen Melbourne, you talk about that, we see them execute this year is some plays with their own back rowers. So where Pappenhausen looks like he's going to sweep on the outside and then all of a sudden turn up on the inside of that back row. And it's a nice little interchange of passing. It's pass to the outside, then pass to the inside. So I think we'll see something along those lines with Walsh. You're not going to see him in that traditional block play time and time again throughout the 80 minutes.
Yeah, and I think they'll work that left side. I'm guessing Latrell's on the left side.
He will be on New South Wales left, which will be Queensland's right.
Yeah, I reckon they'll see a lot of traffic go that way, and just because Stephen Crichton, he went to the other side of the field and pretty much shut the game down for a good 40 minutes in that last game, and he's a really good defender. I think they'll test out Latrell's lateral movement a lot inside the first 20 minutes, but yeah, he's definitely going to do something. If Latrell starts throwing people around, I think he'll take another approach to it. But
just on that, the Latrell v Holmes battle is going to be huge.
Well, Holmes grows another leg in Origin.
He does, but he might need more than 3 legs. I spoke to former teammate of yours, Will Chambers, and he was just saying like he'd go up against Latrell in Origin, and when you think of Will Chambers, you think Stephen Crichton, best defensive centre in the game when Chambers was at his pomp, and a young Latrell Mitchell like was putting moves on Will, and you'll watch it back, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's not normal.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. And mate, Holmes has a crazy knack for scoring tries in Origin. I think he's nearly the top try scorer ever in Origin history. Yeah. He's I don't know if Charlie can search that up, but I think he's like 2 to 3 tries away from Darius Boyd and Greg Inglis. Yeah. It's like 17 games, 15 tries or something, 13 tries.
Yeah, well, he's played a fair bit on the Sting, hasn't he? So
yeah. And he scored a few hat tricks.
Yes. But no, I think the stage is set for Latrell. Like, big game player. I imagine going down there, MCG, they're predicting 90,000. Look, most in attendance would likely want to see Queensland win. If there's any Victorians there, they're going to side with Queensland as opposed to New South Wales.
All the Kiwis over there too.
And plus obviously Melbourne, any Melbourne Storm fans, as you know, a couple of Melbourne players in that Queensland side. So
they just hate both, and they want them both to bash each other.
Yeah, but I think like the stage is set for Latrell Mitchell. Like it really is. I think if New South Wales win, it's because of him.
Yeah,
and the bench impact. But then when they need points, they're going to go to Latrell to get them.
I just want him to, like as a mate, I want him to just go out there and play his game, but not try be the hero though. Everyone expects him to be the hero, but like I think when you do that, like for me going into this game on the weekend, I was trying to not overplay anything and like thinking before the game, like I don't have to go and play good for everyone to like me again. You know what I mean? That's the sort of I guess I was thinking about it too much throughout the week and thinking, if I don't play good, like you know, if the club's off me, the fans are off me, all that. And I just don't want him to put that sort of pressure on himself, especially for this game. But Latrell's got that knack of when there's a lot of pressure on him, he shuts a lot of people up. So, but just going into the game, I feel like he just needs to focus on what he's good at and not focus on trying to win the game for New South Wales.
You sound too much like a current player and a coach. You like any fan is
I just know what he's going through. Just
any
not
fan
at the
is sitting there, Bruce is going, I'll tell you what, Cheese better pull his finger out today. I want him to go well. I bet he owes us. And the same with Latrell. Like, we're fans, they want to see him like, I want to see him like, I don't want him to have a boring game. Like, I don't want him to just be like, he did all right.
Yeah,
like you know,
I don't think that's going to be the case.
That's not going to be the case. But I don't. Do people want that?
Nah. I think he's going to shut their lights out. To be quite honest,
but he just can't be thinking that.
Yeah,
but he will.
But I think Holmes is in big trouble.
Yes, it could be. That will be a fascinating battle. And again, like Queensland will have a plan. Whether or not they can execute it, the plan for one of the big plans is how you stop Spencer Leniu. Like, you've got to work hard for Marker. But, I mean, good luck. That guy runs with a ferocity that hasn't been seen in a long time.
Yeah, well, I was telling you about my shoulder. He done it at training. And
I got no time for that.
No, but it was my fault. Like,
no, mate.
He ran like a hard lead line, and I was like, I'm going to stop this guy. Yeah. Put my body right in front and just went, that didn't feel nice.
So you just got to do the 2-hand touch. I would have had him there.
Oh, yeah, I'm starting to... I'm forgetting that he's only like 22. I'm 30, see? Nearly 30. Mate, he's 23. He's got 3 rings.
Is he 23?
He looks 40, but he's 23.
Sometimes in training, do the old, like someone's running that hard line, you just touch them. It's like, I would have had them in the game. Yeah. You would trust me there.
Sammy Walker's special. Someone goes straight to, he's like, mate, I got you.
I would have got him in the game.
Mate, in the game he's dead.
Yeah. All right, Cheese. Well, looking forward to State of Origin. Hey, just quickly, how do you think Connor Watson will go?
Yeah, I think he'll go really good. I think he's that type of player that Queensland would love to have in their team. Someone that's just going to work hard as long and as much as they can on the field. He's done everything he can possibly do, I think, to be the best he can be in this game. I can just imagine how professional he's been at the moment. But yeah, I think it's just one of those live wires that sort of New South Wales probably missed that zippy sort of ball playing player, and he reminds me of a sort of like a Ruben Cotter style player where you can put him in most positions and he'll be able to do the job. But yeah, he'll just be able to maintain that fitness throughout the whole game. Yeah,
I think, for me, such a huge positive story that Connor Watson and Angus Crichton are playing for their state, playing representative football. They started the season in reserve grade, like a true show of perseverance, sticking at it, navigating hardship, not giving in. So well done to those two in particular. Cheese, that just about wraps us up. Thanks again for the sausage rolls, by the way. Just putting it out there. Cheese and his girlfriend made some sausage rolls, put them in hot with the foil over, tried and tested. Myself, Charlie, I've given them a 10 out of 10, and we're being legit.
I'll be honest, I didn't do nothing. I laid on the couch and then I could smell something nice. And then I went downstairs and there were sausage rolls, and then my girlfriend said, "Can you take one into James and see what he likes? Because he looks like he loves a sausage roll."
That is not a compliment. If you look like you love a sausage roll, that is not a good thing to say about someone. On that bombshell, Cheese, we will leave it there. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch everyone next week.